Today I'm going to show you how to render a scene using Fusion 360 and to make it look good. For instance, here I have this basic scene comprising of a table, a plate, and a cup that I made really quickly. If you were to go into the render view now, you would see that these don't look anything like what they would in real life. These are all basically made of steel at this point. So what you need to do is go back into the design menu and click A for appearance. This will come up with the appearance window. You can see that currently everything is made of steel. You can change this by using these materials here. One thing you need to make sure you do to make this a lot easier is that every single body is a separate body. So this cup is separate from this table. So you can see I can move this cup freely I can move this table freely without it affecting the cup or the plate. Same for the plate and the cup, like this for instance. So what we need to do is click A, and I'll demonstrate on the plate first. Say let's make it a white plate. So white, we can search and find something which you find appropriate. For instance, let's use this marble here. Quickly download it and drag it onto the object that you want to change color. So you can see now this plate is now a marble white plate. For instance, if you want to make an object two-tone, for instance this table, let's have it have a black top with wooden legs. What you can do is use the tool to find wood first of all. Let's make this out of, let's say oak here, unfinished oak. Now this table is made of oak, but if we want to change this, we need to change it from bodies mode to faces mode. This will apply the texturing to only the face that you want it to apply to. So let's see if we can find some black paint, for instance. And here we can see, let's see if we can find some wood. Well, we can't, but we can still use this here. And make sure you're in face mode. As you can see here, it will only paint the faces that we select. Now, finally, I'm going to use transparency on this cup, having it a glass cup. So let's put the glass, and let's say we want a clear frosted glass cup. There we can see that effect's been applied. Now we just need to move these objects into the position where we want them to. So let's move this good here, and go into the render view. Here you can see that we have a much more photorealistic version without any of the geometry lines and things like that, and things with like shadows. There are several things you can do here. Scene settings allows you to set the brightness, so you can have it brighter or dimmer if you want. I usually just leave this at stock value, or like dim it a bit. So like let's say 700. This background, we can change this background to be whatever we want. So for here, instance, I have a studio background, as you can see by the filming, the filming light there, up there, yeah, and the curved thing here. You can also change the focal length of the camera here. So this is what it would look like if it's just 9. And so like zoom in and zoom out essentially. Once again, I would leave this at the stock value of 90 millimeters. I would recommend just leaving all of these at their stock values. Here, what you can do is change the, the environment. For instance, let's have this table in a dry lake bed, for instance. You have to give it a second to load, and there we go. And it should pretty accurately simulate things like the ground textures and lighting and all that kind of stuff. All you need to do now is change a few settings here. Like I turned on reflections, that's usually pretty nice to have. And I'm going to change the scene because I don't like it that much. Let's say the cool light. There we go. You can see we have a slight reflection there as well now. What we need to, all we have to do now is click on the render tool. I'll just save it quickly. Take this aside quickly. Yes, there we go. Click render. I have to wait up again. Right, now that it's should have been, you can click render. If you use cloud render or local render, it depends on the power of your computer. If you're using a school laptop, I would recommend you use cloud render, and you have Autodesk render it for you. But since I have a pretty decent desktop at home, I will use local render. And using local render, you can adjust more settings. So here we have our custom image size, and we're just gonna click render here. Now it'll take a few minutes for this to complete. As you can see here, you can have a live view of it rendering here. You see it takes 7 minutes compared to the 20 that Autodesk suggested it would take on their servers. Right, now the render is finished, we can download it to the place of our choosing. For instance, here I'm going to save it to my desktop. And if we go there, you can see we have our rendered file here with the accurately reflected things here looking pretty good. Thanks for watching.